It's starting a little bit too quick for me right now. Eldar really getting into the action very fast on this map. We're on Selenon Island, so the distance from base to the farms is very small, and the Warp Spider with his innate teleportation makes it very fast. So yeah, straight away some combat starting before I can even get my mic set up properly. So we're going to be watching an Eldar mirror between Tex and Piano. I had a really interesting comment on the returning video from my hiatus where I cast the 3 games with Piano, 2 of which were versus Tex and 1 of which was versus Deimos. One of the commenters was just pointing out how those games that I cast illustrate the skill difference between Dawn of War 2 and Dawn of War 1 tremendously, where he was arguing that Dawn of War 1 players have a lot more skill. And I imagine that the person who wrote that is probably terrible at video games, because generally the people who write comments about skills of players, especially in games that they don't themselves play, is usually really bad. But I thought it was an interesting comment though. Undoubtedly in at least one of those games the micro players was quite poor, and I bet the micro of Dawn of War 1 players, it being a traditional RTS, not an RTT, is way higher. Just a tangential discussion. We'll see in this game whether micro is the deciding factor or whether macro is, and we do see a bit of macro deviation.
There are more pressing matters.
2 Guardians for Tex and only 1 for Piano, with fast ranges coming out there. Gonna go into double ranges, so presumably these will get long rifles. If you're gonna go for 2, you generally do go for long rifles. This is nice use of the heavy cover here to prevent too many Banshee models being able to hit the Warlock at once, but he has to leave anyway. And of course, whilst he's in that cover, he's also mitigating the range attacks of the Spider. Yeah, Rangers here doing alright, running into melee with the Guardians. The pistol's not too bad. Bleeding them down. See if they can get some models, that'd be nice. But yeah, the ability to infiltrate makes these just very effective against isolated Guardians. They've also got special attacks, which you normally don't see, but because these are ranged units without any sort of melee capabilities, you will actually see it against Guardians, and it prevents Guardians from being able to melee Rangers, even though Rangers have such low HP. And that guy is looking precarious. Yeah, he dies, unfortunately for him. And they are going to pick up some long rifles. No wargate. Oh, beautiful grenade there from Tex. Wow. I guess that's an illustration of fairly bad micro from Piano. Because now that minimum range on the grenades has been implemented, to get nade spiked kind of does require quite bad micro on your behalf. No upgrades yet on these long rifles. Where are they? Bring out the long rifles. One of the big disadvantages of the Ranger change, which is quite intentional, now that you have 3 long rifles in the squad, you can't run them around with 2 models. That would be awful. Imagine only having 66% DPS. Once again, man, green cover proving to be an absolute pain in the ass. I hate tank traps, because you can't even crush them in tier 2. It's a real pain. They really, really negate ranged builds. And Tex doubling down on that durability, going for the Champion's Robe as well. Get that shield, get that knockback immunity, protect him from Banshees. Stop the specials yeeting him out of melee. And I like this, I like to see the energy shields. It's an obvious response, and I really do question going double ranges against double Guardians, because that means there's potential for double energy shields, and that could be a very lean build for Tex that could get him to tier 2. I mean, honestly, I'd still consider a shuriken if I was Tex, because if you put an energy shield here and a shuriken, you've basically got your farm protected then. But right now, it's kind of open for the Banshees to move in, but I don't know what Piano's doing. It's kind of rotating everything around. I'm very surprised that he's kept one Ranger default. Is that for just cheap side capping or what? And yeah, the Champion's Robe kind of redundant there. Still wanted to get the damage off with the Destructor. He doesn't have the Immolator, so his range DPS is not that good. And yeah, a lot of investment in the war gear there, but it didn't really accomplish anything. But Piano just happy to not bother bashing. And actually, you know what? I love this player. Tex has dropped 2 gens down here because he was anticipating being bashed. I don't know why Piano didn't bash. I find that really quite bewildering. But now what Piano needs to do is he needs to claim these gens here for sure. He needs to take them to stay up in tech. It'll be a big win for him if he does. Rangers can go harass. Leave these 2 to take it. What Spider can cap, Banshees can cap. Energy Shield pushing off the Guardians down here. So Energy Shield's proving quite useful. As you would expect really, second long rifle's coming up. Only doing that whilst taking tier 2. Very interesting. Ooh. Yeah, it's not a good fight for Tex's Banshees there, getting shot by the Spider and the Rangers whilst they try and fight. So even though Pianos didn't have the aspect, you can see that was favourable. But these ones need to retreat as well, getting shot by Guardians. Pianos ones need to retreat, yep. Warlock in retreat path. Gets a poke and another Banshee blade. Did he get it? No. No, it's still Texas. Oh, that's really bad for Piano. Oh, wow. Wow, that's really bad for him. He's bleeding loads of Guardians unnecessarily as well. Waiting for an Autark bomb. That could kill the Warlock in retreat. Not the bomb, obviously, but the actual Autark herself. Let's see. Goes for the leap. Will have Fleet of Foot as well. That should secure it, surely. Yeah, there you go. Just the passive. Leap combat claims him. Well, that's something. There's a lot of investment, to be fair, on that Warlock, so getting rid of him is pretty nice. But I will say, an Autark doesn't square up very well to a Wraith Lord. So I'm a little bit curious how he's going to deal with that one. Now, with the Autark in play, Piano should have the advantage in the melee fights, as long as he keeps the Autark near the Banshees. Not only the damage of the Autark herself, but more importantly, really, the heal in an AoE wherever she jumps, and the speed plus damage boost. But then again, Piano is not investing in his Banshees. And he's got bigger fish to fry, to be honest, in the Banshee duel. He hasn't got anything right now to do with the Wraith Lord. Obviously, he's gone double Rangers. That's good for the long-range poke, but it's got no transitional AV. Obviously, you could pick up a fusion gun on the Autark, but alone, that's not that good. That was a very precarious jump. He will be alright, though. That had to be a misclick. Treating the Warlock there. So yeah, you can see the macro is... It's not very good, is it? Let's face it. For like top tier players, like top 5, top 10, this is... It's not very good micro. But what can you expect in a game that's non-competitive, you know? It's gonna happen. I mean, Tex doesn't play for like 75% of the year. So he's not gonna have good mic. He's like me coming back. I'm gonna have micro mistakes all over the place because 90% of the year I'm not playing, if not more. Man, yeah, those long rifles not that good against heroes, are they? Especially when they start using the energy shield. I think some of the long rifles in the back there weren't hitting him. Yeah, this dude can't hit. So they're sort of nerfing themselves. Heart of Darkness coming up. Gives him more energy regen. Just fuels his Champion's Robe shield. I only see the improved targeters on the Warp Spider, but this got nerfed quite a lot. I think. Wait. I'm sure this got nerfed somehow, but the tooltip doesn't seem to be updated. They can't have lowered his base damage, right? Oh no, wait. It was the tier 1 war gear got nerfed, and therefore it indirectly nerfed the targeters as well. But you never before were meant to get the targeters on their own. Because 50% increase in damage to the base damage of the spider is not that much, because the base damage is really bad. But if you get it with a tier 1 war gear, that itself is a 50% damage boost, and then you're getting 50% on top of 50%. So for the same price, you're getting 75%, if that made any sense. But basically, this is a very, very, very questionable purchase on its own. I'm not sure I would get it on its own. But anyway, Piano was stalling there, and he's put a lot of VPs, down to 151 VPs, but he's managed to get a Fire Dragon squad and a Wraith Lord. And he snags the Warlock there with the speed boost, of course, from the Autark jump onto his Banshees. Pretty good situation for Piano. Tex obviously caught with his pants down there, didn't expect 2 units to be coming out. So he has to back off with his Wraith Lord. He is opting really for a bit of an all-in, going for double Wraith Lords. I mean, this is a very big commitment, but you know, they can get those shoulder-mounted Bright Lances, and that would be quite nice to take on Piano's Wraith Lord. But we'll see. It's going to be tricky. I probably would grab the fusion gun on the Autark when I see the second Wraith Lord. Piano obviously not seeing that yet, so he won't get that. He needs to see the second Wraith Lord first. Yeah, look at those long rifles against the Guardians when they've got the Warlock. Just tickling them. The fuck? So he should, yeah, he'll see both the Wraith Lords now. So let's have a look at the Autark. Just keep it a default. Because the problem is, one of the Wraith Lords just forces melee on the Fire Dragons, the other one goes into duel the other Wraith Lord. But if you have another source of ranged AV, even if it doesn't do a lot of DPS, it's still reasonable. Note the leap into combat there by the Autark knocks over guys even with their shields up, which is really funny. It's a unique interaction because she has a unique modifier on her leap into combat known as Weapon Knockback Light. And the only difference between it and any other weapon knockback, he's trying to get the Exarch here, and he gets it. Can he get out though? Oh, really lucky special at the last minute. Gonna knock him over and kill him. Fucking hell, that was lucky. Oh, I feel kind of bad about that. It was nice to notice that he was hitting the Exarch and stay in. But yeah, basically the only difference between her weapon knockback light and normal weapon knockback is weapon knockback light ignores hero bubble shields. Why it exists, I don't know. A lot of people will be like, hey, is that a bug? Why is the Autark leap into combat knocking over my hero with the shield that's meant to make them immune to knockback? Well, technically, no, it's not a bug. She has a unique leap, which I think the only other source of it was the passive shells from the Commando Nob's shotgun. And I don't know if Elite Mod even nerfed it or not. But yeah, Shuriken shoulder-mounted Wraith Lord there. Yeah, so the Shuriken one will obviously pursue the Fire Dragons, and the Bright Lance one will pursue the enemy Wraith Lord. Piano's Wraith Lord has a Bright Lance, and now Piano's going for a second Wraith Lord too. I really think he should get the fusion gun on the Autark. Did accidentally jump her onto the VP there, not realising that Banshees were stood nearby. Which is obviously not where a default Autark wants to be. Even with her Executioner Spear and a shield, she might struggle with Banshees. I'm not sure. I'd kind of like to see that fight. Yeah, I don't think she'd have the DPS to get through them. Some good specials to lead the engagement here from Tex's Banshees, and that's going to secure it. It kind of does come down to special RNG if you're the same level, and they're both level 1. Getting pretty close to level 2 though on Piano's Banshees, and the relevance of that is, well, it's actually quite huge, because it means once he's level 2, these can no longer proc specials at all against them. So it's huge. Your Banshees will quite soundly win those engagements. Oh, Tex still not with a fusion gun. Just running into melee, which is rather odd. It's not really going to achieve a whole lot. Yeah, she should go disrupt the Guardians. And that Wraith Lord obviously getting wrecked because it's just getting 2v1. There's crack shot to boost the damage and range of these fire dragons. And now this Wraith Lord's going to die. And this is kind of the problem with the Walker players. They give you a really powerful timing spike, but you are committing really deep. They're so deep into combat that they can't possibly get out when they're going to get chased by the shoulder-mounted Bright Lance. So, yeah, both Wraith Lords fall, and that's probably GG. But I see what's going on now. Tex is actually just pushing the VPs. There's only 40 VPs left. Piano hasn't got anything on the right-hand side. He was already routed, so he's moving everything down here. Rangers have snuck in with their infiltration to get the back. But he needs to get something on this VP. What is he doing? Just get the Rangers on here. Yeah, they don't need to be helping over that side. Flamer on the Fire Dragons. Should be turning on his Flamer against the Banshees rather than the Melter Gun. Wow. Just snags it though. The inspiration damage buffs, I guess, proving very useful there. Oh my god. And the Wraith Lord over here slays the Warlock. Tex really committing there at the end to just try and elongate any engagements that he can and prevent the decaps. But Piano made a good play there. Recognised he didn't need the Rangers for combat. Just use them to cap. I think the Wraith Lords should probably be positioned a little closer to here. You never know, there could be like a Cloak of Shadows decap, or there could be well, not when the Warlock's dead, I guess, but you know, there could be a Ranger squad coming out, a default Ranger running in. Yeah, I didn't notice that the Rangers snuck in there, and he committed too hard. Lost his Warlock. And basically thrown the game. Bit of a shame, really. Tex, it felt like, was dominating most of that match, but he went for that all-in play for some reason. I don't know why. Like, why is he taking tier 3? I mean, obviously at this point he's already lost. There's nothing he can do when he lost that many units, but like, his head just seems like it's in the wrong place. And like he said, obviously he didn't notice that that was getting caught, so he probably thought he'd won it. And then it was too late by the time he'd sacked everything off. Man, look how good he is against the Banshees. One more hit probably would have killed that XR. Very nice. And again, he's a higher level than them now, so he wouldn't get knocked over by specials. They wouldn't even be able to proc specials. This was a weird game because we just had an Eldar mirror where neither player, even though we were on a map where the distance from the base of the gen farm is short, neither player went for warp spiders, which is really rare. Conventional wisdom would tell you that one Wraith Lord and warp spider squads then just get spammed. That's kind of what you do. You go for one Wraith Lord and then you spam spiders. That is like pretty standard meta, because the one Haywire just shuts down enemy Wraith Lords. And even if you can't kill them, if both the Wraith Lords, if they just start spamming Wraith Lords, they're so immobile that you just cap around the map. And Eldar field a lot of light infantry. The Autarch, the Banshees, the Guardians, the Shurikens, the Rangers, and the Heroes are all very vulnerable to a Warp Spider squad. The only thing really that isn't is the Fire Dragons, but then they're short range. So it's easy to evade them, really, when you can teleport. Alright, well, I don't know what's going on here. Tex has got a stupid amount of VPs, that's what's going on, but there's no chance that he can... Well, actually, hold on. He did manage to get Seer Council. I didn't realise quite how many VPs Tex had. Sort of rambling there, waiting for the game to end. And he does have Seer Council. Now, previously you'd be thinking, what the fuck's he got Seer Council for? That's not going to help very much. But now that they've got the heavy melee Seeing Spears, maybe. I mean, I somehow doubt it. There are two Wraith Lords and Autarch with an Executioner Spear and Banshees here, so I don't think these guys can go into melee and do something. I'm sure, though, if a Wraith Lord finds itself isolated, the Seers could do very well. But for that reason, I don't think Piano will let the Wraith Lords be isolated. He didn't take out that webway. He's seen it, but he didn't take it out. Here come the Seer Council. They're going to focus on the Banshees first. They've got that disruption with the leap into combat. They just got wrecked by the scream of the Banshees and are taking loads of damage. They didn't leap in. Why did he go for the Fire Dragons? I'm not sure. Should have gone for the Banshees. That was a much bigger deal. And wow. Absolutely ripped to pieces. Stunned in place right now. Well, technically not stunned, but immobilized by the entangling web. And the Seers just get absolutely fucking wrecked. Yeah. Well, that's what happens in desperation. I don't know why the hell they jumped the Guardians. That was... sorry, not the Guardians. The Fire Dragons.
Those sent to take the point have perished.
Yeah.
Someone went astray.
I mean, I don't get it. Tex did an all-in play when he was ahead all game. I don't know why he did an all-in play. It's like man was rushing because he had to change the diapers on the baby or something. I don't get it. But yeah, I guess it's cool to see. It's cool to see the matchup unfold. Having deviation in tier 1 is unusual. I can see the reason why you'd like long rifle ranges on this map with the distance being short, but I don't like snipers against Eldar because they can counter them so easily with the energy shields. You know? It feels... don't feel great to me, and they don't scale very well. They're so annoying to use in tier 2 when they're bleeding to things like warp spiders or a shuriken shoulder mounted Wraithlord, and they've got that teardown time and setup time, and we've seen their damage in tier 2 was honestly kind of pitiful. They do actually get better now in tier 3. Is that another upgrade? Yeah, I think it's a separate tier 3 upgrade. It's pretty good actually, that upgrade. I really like that idea to help them scale. If you're not aware, in tier 3 now you can get an upgrade and it makes their rifles debuff the enemy's damage resistance just like their pistols do in tier 1. So that automatically gives you a DPS rise on your long rifles while they're debuffed, but more importantly it will ramp up the damage of things like Banshees to help Banshees scale. And more importantly, warp spiders as well, who already do crazy damage. But there you go, folks. That's going to be all for you, boy Torpid, this time. Thank you for the support. I'm going to be signing out.